That's just my shit. That's all. Let's see. Let's do the sketch. Look at the sketchbook for some of these. Oh, that's a really interesting quirk design. Yeah, they talked about this in some behind the scenes in the developer commentary let's play, where the number of eyes and the overall stature of the Tyrannoid was supposed to be a clue for how powerful it was. Unfortunately, fighting all these Tyrannoids got old after a while because it's the same enemy throughout the entire game. You actually don't want that because that kind of homogenizes each level. Well, thankfully, this game does have other levels where you fight like robots or the Quark enemies from that level. So there isn't like it's not homogenous. There's variety there. It's a little less than they could have had, because so many areas are fighting Tyrannoids, especially in the early game. Later game they start adding more diversity. Like a ship. This reminds me of the ship that Quark used against us in Ratchet and Clank 1. Similar design. There's Steven, the useless robot. Quark's evil lair. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, here's the queen, and that Ratchet figure is there for size difference. So you know how tall that they want the queen to be, roughly, in comparison to Ratchet. I don't remember this enemy. Could have gotten cut. Or I could just not be remembering it. Oh, must be an early Courtney Gears model. Or one of her dancers. I didn't notice that the weapons subtly change with each stage. Maybe that was an early concept that they cut. Because I don't recall seeing the weapons make those kinds of subtle changes, but I also wasn't looking for them, so I don't actually know for sure. Nefarious has a cape in this artwork. If I had to guess, they probably cut it because animating the cape would have been a pain in the ass for the animation team in the PS2 era. Nowadays, in the PS3 and beyond era, capes are pretty common. It's not easy to animate them, but it's much more doable than it was back in the PS2 era. So I can see why his early design would have cut the cape, because in the PS2 era you just can't do that. You can't have capes. Not really. Not unless you want them to be static objects. They're not really animated very, very well at all. Because cloth physics in the PS2 is not going to happen. You're not going to do that. Ever. He looks so bored or like sad or depressed in that shot. Or in that art. Probably more bored. Anything else? Because I get the impression that Lawrence is really like he is just doing his job and otherwise doesn't really care or give a shit. There's our quirk design. Pass. Some of the NPCs. Is this the robot that Clank fights in the Hollow Star Studio as Giant Clank? No. No, this is the robot from that we just like we one shot with the bouncer all the time. In the penultimate level of the game. Sasha. Oh, I didn't realize Sasha was pale in the earlier version. Of course, this could just be an earlier an unfinished concept. There's a lot of these concept arts seem to be pretty. Yeah, uncolored is probably like most of these are uncolored. I'm noticing. All right, that's all of the concept art. Do we have any movies? that unlock after we beat the game. They really don't have a behind the scenes for this one, do they? I just have the cheats for all the skill points. And there were a ton of skins in this game. I believe I believe the platinum bolts or the titanium bolts in this game were how you unlocked most of these skins. I know you got old school Ratchet for having a Ratchet and Clank 1 save file. Like when you import your save file for the Gastatron discount, I believe that also unlocks Ratchet and Clank old school Ratchet skin. Snowdan has been kind of a thing that they've always done. Tuxedo. This, when I got the final armor in Ratchet and Clank, in this game, because the final armor completely masks Ratchet's face, I would always go for old school Ratchet or this so I could still see the facial animations when I was playing the game. Because they put a lot of work into that facial animation at the time, and I do want to see their work. I don't want it to be covered up by just the fact that I have a 1,000,000 bolt armor. Brainius. Yeah, that's the B2 Brawler. Constructobot. Robo Rooster. Trooper. Oh yeah, this is one of the enemies. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And I think the reason this was in the game at all was because of multiplayer. Because you could play... When you're playing multiplayer, you need to have a bunch of skins that you can use as player avatars. So people want that. People want that. Like when you play like a Syphon Filter or a GoldenEye, people want to have all the different skins they can play as. I think that about does it for the museum. I guess we could like explore some of the multiplayer stuff, although we can't really play it because it's just me. And I don't think I have the network. I don't know if the people are even playing this game multiplayer anymore. Where to go? Okay, there's a quit game. Because one of the cool things about Up Your Arsenal in particular, specifically, is that it had a multiplayer mode, which is why we saw so many maps. From like a lot of the trooper levels, the Galactic Ranger levels. A lot of those levels are multiplayer maps.
Greetings, Quark Cadets. This is Captain Quark, here to teach you everything you need to know about playing a multiplayer game. Let's get started. The multiplayer game can be played in split screen or online mode. Players are divided into red and blue teams. The object of a multiplayer game is to capture the opposing team's base. To capture a base, you must first destroy both of the base's Gatling turrets. Then teleport inside the base and destroy the power core. Ah, the sweet smell of victory! This is a node. Nodes are neutral objectives that can be captured by either team. There are usually several nodes placed throughout the map. You can capture a node by turning the bolt crank until the node turns your color. Capturing
this was not cut. This is the actual multiplayer mode. This is still in the game,
including vehicles, drones, special weapons, Vulcan turrets, and
let me correct myself for a
spawn
second.
points. You can drive 2 different vehicles in a multiplayer match: the Turbo Slider and my personal favorite, the Hover Ship. All vehicles can be crewed by up to 2 players, a driver and a gunner. A radar display in the bottom right corner of the screen shows the positions of nearby
This is basically
teammates
Halo, but
and
Ratchet and Clank
enemies.
version.
Press R3 or select at any time to call up a full-screen map of the level. If you are killed in a multiplayer game, you will respawn on the battlefield after a few seconds. You can choose to respawn at any node controlled by your team or at your main base. Joining an online game is easy. Just select Quick Play from the main multiplayer menu, and you will be automatically placed into a game with players of your own skill level. All right, now you're ready to get out there and kick some butt. Let's get to it, cadet.
I'll correct myself slightly because the question was it multiplayer cut, and the answer is both yes and no. I am playing the PS2 version of Up Your Arsenal, and that version does have multiplayer more or less intact. Like this is the multiplayer that was released in the PS2 version. This is the same exact executable. This is the PS2 version of the game I am playing right now. But if you're referring to specifically the PS3 remake, I am pretty sure this did get cut. The multiplayer aspect of this game. I am pretty sure that they for Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal only brought the single player mode, the story mode, into the HD collection. I am pretty sure that this multiplayer did not make it. And we don't have the online set up on this PS2. Because I did not go out and buy these Black Horses are example. You can see there's all these modes here. You can choose different weapons. Yeah, this was just a fucking multiplayer mode. Like this was like if you played multiplayer shooters in this era, like in this era, this was what you would see. You would see like all sorts of what weapons do you want? Do you want stocks? Like Smash Brothers. And you would see this, especially if you're familiar with Halo. I want to keep saying Halo because it seems pretty obvious, at least to me, that this was inspired by Halo. But when you played a multiplayer game in the PS2 and Xbox era, this is what you would see. Do a 5-minute thing just to kind of show it off real quick. And obviously, there's only one player here. Which you can still do. Like, they let you explore the maps with one player. This is our base. What happens when we hit this? Alright, these are ammo packs. Cool. Got the charged boots. We already started with those in this. Okay, they give you turrets. You can come up here. See, they're probably nodes. Let me see. Yeah, there's a node up here. This is the fucking Devastator from Ratchet and Clank 1. Holy shit. Wow. I didn't realize how much damage these guys did. I do not remember the multiplayer controls at all. I didn't play this mode because I didn't have broadband, and my friends, like, when we played multiplayer games, we did not play this. Okay, okay, so when you You say Halo, Ratchet, and Clank, but that's way better. I find the controls are kind of... Okay, it's lock strafe. That's why. This is why they put lock strafe in the base game, because they had it implemented for multiplayer already. Okay, I see now. These controls are getting me killed. Obviously, we can also just go right to the enemy base and fight the turrets here. I am terrible at this shit. Holy Christ. Yeah, the lock strafe in this is pretty bad. Holy shit. I'm gonna lose, and there's no one else playing. That's hilarious. It could also just be I'm bad at the game. That's allowed to be the real possibility. Or maybe you're just designed to have more than one player here. Yeah, you have a whole crew. But there was a whole mode here, and I did not play it growing up, but from what I understand is that there's a small but dedicated group of people who still play this game. Multiplayer. But it is a very small group of people. Oh, that was a fun little, like, demo of the multiplayer. You don't load up ammo inside your base. That's fun. I don't actually care about that. It's how you get weapons, is by finding them in the area. But that is a multiplayer match in Ratchet and Clank. Edit profiles. And this is where you, like, this is where why we have all these skins. And there's more here than there were in the game, so I'm kind of surprised that, they didn't put many of these in the game when they could have. Let's put that, let's see, which one... This is the right one. This is the right skin. That's Brandon. I'm done. I would like to, at least at some point in my life, Like, try the online for this. Because now that we have the modern conveniences of technology that you can emulate online on a PS2, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to see if a game can be arranged in the year of our Lord 2022. That's an interesting question to ask. At this point, we've exhausted Ratchet and Clank. Up your arsenal. We're done. There's nothing else to show off. This game actually is surprisingly light on secrets, which I guess part of that is because of the crunch that hit this game particularly hard, even compared to the others in the trilogy. There's not a whole lot to talk about because not a lot for them to add because a lot of stuff got cut, and they had to rush to finish the game. But this is... I'm not even sure what else to do. I might just end the stream early at this point because I don't have anything else to actually bring up. Stream is ending. And thank you everyone who joined up, who watched even a few minutes of this stream, either on Twitch or on YouTube. I appreciate every minute you spend with me when you could be doing anything else with your time. You choose to watch me play Ratchet and Clank in next week's Live 3, and I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And remember, because I love you, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, get your vaccine, your booster shot, which, by the way, I got my booster shots up in my flu shot yesterday, so booster shot, get it if you can. Flu shot, get it if you can. I just got them both in my arm, which is still a bit sore from the shot, but I didn't have any actual ill effects from it. Remember that Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, and all lives cannot matter until minority lives matter in this country, in this world, in this universe. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you next time when we start Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. Bye!